Green hell, heat, mosquitoes, an arduous trek. That is what comes to mind when thinking of Ciudad Perdida. Northern Colombia was once home to a civilization, the Tairona, that occupied a vast area, spanning from the northern coastline to the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta mountain range. While the Tairona are known for the spectacular gold and beadwork, one of the most enigmatic vestiges of their culture is the remote Ciudad Perdida, believed to have been the political and religious center for the Tairona people and a central node in a wider network of villages. For the past 400 years, this city has been slowly consumed by the tropical forests. The Tairona inhabited this area from around 1100 to around 1650 Common Era. It is believed that there are a total of more than 250 Tairona villages and towns spanning 80 acres, containing both stone masonry and packed earth architecture that could be found throughout the Sierra. Majority of their gold work depicts religious leaders. You typically see them standing frontal with aggressive expression and large headdresses. There is also a vast amount of Tairona bead necklaces found throughout the region. The beads range in sizes and materials used. They are made of quartz, jade, and shirt, and also use different colors, ranging from red and white to orange, purple, and green. The shapes of these beads range from square or circular to depictions of humans and animals. Ultimately, disease, displacement, and war with the Spanish made the Tairona abandon the city and head further into the forest. Presently, the Kogi, which are believed to be descendants of the Tairona, still inhabit the region to this day. Ciudad Perdida was discovered in 1976. Unfortunately, it was discovered by looters. As a result, there are a few artifacts that have been examined in Ciudad Perdida. What we do have, however, are the terraces that were used in foundations for both residential and ceremonial structures. Some of the oldest residential terraces are believed to have been constructed as early as 650 Common Era. The technique used for making these terraces was essentially digging until they reached the rock layer. After that, they would fill the space with fine soil mix with gravel. That was then packed in by stepping on it. After that, a line of stones was placed to help tighten the soil. This was repeated until the desired size was reached. At this point, an outer wall made from polished stone blocks, which is what we see, was placed to fortify the structure. The easiest way to think of this process is to think of modern foundations. Instead of cement, they would use packed dirt and gravel. Instead of wood beams and aluminum, they were using stones. They also would use deformities in the rock as foundations, walls, and even as decorative and utilitarian objects such as benches. According to the landscape and size of the terrace, they adopted different solutions. There is an organic balance to the design. Every walkway and terrace is put there not because the engineers wanted to, but because the earth did. This belief to not disturb the environment or to disturb it as little as possible is evident in their design of Ciudad Perdida, which goes in line with their religion. After climbing up the 1600 steps that lead to the city's entrance, you come up to a large stone, which the Tairona erected for a couple of reasons. For one, visitors were encouraged to kiss the stone in order to re-energize after the long climb. It is believed to be a depiction of Sharamku, one of the first sons of Mother Earth in Tairona mythology. It also contains what is believed to be a map of the city. As mentioned before, all that we have to examine in Ciudad Perdida are the terraces that, when looked at from afar, show a great sense of cohesion with nature, and its design is indicative of that. The atmosphere created by Ciudad Perdida is very similar to that of Japanese gardens and Chinese gardens of the Ming Dynasty. As mentioned by Fred Kleiner, designing a Ming garden was not a matter of cultivating plants in rows or of laying out terraces, flower beds, and avenues in geometric fashion, as was the case of many other cultures. Instead, Ming gardens are scenic arrangements of natural and artificial elements intended to reproduce the irregularities of uncultivated nature. A perfect example of this is the Suzu Gardens, built in the 16th century. Ciudad also draws comparison to Buddhist ideals of Japanese gardens. In Japanese gardens, there is a desire to make them connect with the mind and spirit. The same could be argued about Ciudad Perdida. The reality is that there is very little known about Ciudad Perdida. Since 1976, the Colombian Institute of Anthropology and History have controlled the site. Currently, the main concern in Ciudad Perdida has been erosion. Since 2010, a conservation team led by Catalina Bateman have been restoring walls and foundations. There are still many unknown questions both with Tairona culture and Ciudad Perdida. However, since 2006, when FARC left the region, there has been far more access to the site. Hopefully, those questions can be answered in the near future.